All right. Hi, welcome back to TUTV. I'm Parker.
And I'm David.
It's a whole new semester and I don't know, somewhat new climate. We don't have school tomorrow, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty excited. I think I needed a real big break.
Yeah.
Here in the first week, right before exams start to pick up, you know.
True.
Yeah, I got statistics on Thursday though, so but
yeah, 2 spring breaks,
2 spring breaks, exactly.
Yeah.
But there's also a pretty high chance of snow tomorrow. So Parker, what's your favorite activity to do in the snow?
Well, I just skied for the very first time over winter break, which is super fun.
Awesome.
I would say in terms of technique, it's similar to biking with how much you have to learn, but the muscle required is crazy. My legs were dying, so I think I need to do some squats next time.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's awesome. Well, let's get right into it, and we'll see y'all at the end.
Awesome.
Hello, welcome to TUTV. I'm Christopher DePalma.
And I'm Jacob Gailey, and let's get right into the stories for today.
Saturday, carbon monoxide exposure hospitalized 13 people from ages 2 to 52 in Marysville, Ohio. The hotel evacuated its occupants after a guest notified the front desk of 2 unconscious young girls on the building's premises. A victim told CNN via email that, quote, "Shortly after this call, the local 911 center received additional calls referencing unconscious subjects in and around the pool area," end quote. Marysville Fire Chief Jay Riley told CNN in an email that, "We will continue the investigation into the source, and we are glad that no one has died as a result of their exposure."
This past Saturday, a bomb cyclone caused 88,000 power outages on the northeastern side of America. Upwards of 30 inches of snow and rain accumulated in cities such as Hartford, Connecticut, and Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Residents of the Northwest felt sub-zero winds, chills, and one resident reported to have, quote, kayaked in the streets of ice-cold floodwaters to get from point A to point B, end quote. As of Sunday night, 1 million people are still under weather advisory, 16 million less than Saturday night.
A national human rights group in India reported that financial compensation was given to 49 sexual assault survivors last week by the government of Bihar. The nearly 4 dozen girls and women who received the payout lived in the same homeless shelter in Muzaffarpur, India reported to CNN. The Muzaffarpur shelter has bars on the outside windows and no roof over the building. A resident of Muzaffarpur and neighbor to one of the sexual assault survivors said to CNN that the women and girls did not receive recreational time and were forced to stay indoors.
With Supreme Court Justice Stephen G. Breyer retiring, Biden and his legal team released a short list of potential Supreme Court candidates that Biden may be appointing. Biden hopes that giving black women this position will adjust the diversity gap we see in the profession of American law. Biden said in an interview that, quote, "I'm looking forward to making sure there's a black woman on the Supreme Court to make sure we, in fact, get everyone represented," end quote. Biden also made a statement last week stating that he hopes the diversity he brings to the American government will become a part of his legacy.
In an interview published under the University of Tulsa Law School, Orrin Griffin discusses his plans as the new dean. Griffin stated, quote, "TU Law has many wonderful programs, including its diverse array of clinical and externship opportunities," when asked about what he loves about the school. He continued to say, quote, "TU Law's commitment to academic excellence and personal attention are fundamental ingredients of the academic programs that make it a special place," end quote. The new dean also hopes to increase TU's national presence in the national rankings. The full interview can be found in last week's edition of Headlines and Happenings.
So, as said earlier, no schools tomorrow due to the weather. You got any plans that you're thinking on doing during this
Sleeping,
downtime?
obviously.
I mean, sleeping in is probably what I'll be doing, so it's one of probably my favorite pastimes.
Yeah, it's definitely a great hobby to have, especially after a rough first few weeks of online and sometimes in-person classes.
I gotta tell you, it's been rough. I've had to email professors, some's online, some are in person, some are both. Like, I can't keep up with everything going on.
Yeah, but hopefully this will give us a nice break.
Yeah, I think so too. And then hopefully, if classes aren't canceled Thursday, then everyone will just, I guess, come back and get back to doing what we were doing.
Well, that's all this week, folks.
I'm Jacob Gailey, and I will see you all next time.
Hi, I'm Parker, and today we are doing a senior spotlight with Sam Modde.
Hey Parker, how's it going?
Going pretty well. What about you?
Not too bad. I'm prepping for the winter storm tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I heard it might be like 46 degrees, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
46?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But Sam, for those who don't know, could you please, talk about your major, what your and what your role is at TUTV?
Yeah, of course. So, like I said, I'm Sam Modde. I'm a senior here at TU, Film Studies and Media Studies double major with a Spanish minor. And currently I'm wrapping up my last semester, getting ready to graduate. With TU, I've actually been here since pretty much my first week freshman year. I was walking around the activities booth, and Alex Isaac and Harrison Brockwell, who were both involved at the time, reached out, told me about TUTV. I thought it was pretty interesting, and it's pretty much been history from there. I came in freshman year and was news producer and sports anchor. Sophomore year, I was assistant director and show producer for a bit, went abroad for spring semester, and then I graduated to director for the past 3 semesters.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, also, in terms of my involvement, you were actually the one who told me about TUTV. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad I did, because I'm glad you're here.
Thanks. I'm glad you're here. So, to bring it back, why did you come to TU in the first place before joining TUTV?
Yeah, so originally I was just a film studies major. I ended up adding media studies actually because of TUTV, but I was looking around the country for film programs, and Tulsa actually came up as a top 10 film school, which kind of surprised me. I'd never heard of it before, but I came here and shadowed, and pretty much everyone I interacted with genuinely seemed to enjoy being here. Didn't feel like they were selling me on anything. And I really liked the program, so I ended up coming here. Applied for the presidential scholarship and got that as well, so that helps inform my decision. But I've never looked back and definitely don't regret coming here.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's a great studio we got here. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but
yeah, we're not actually in a house, by the way. The windows don't go outside.
Don't tell them that.
Okay, yeah, we can't kill the illusion. Yeah, so what's your favorite memory at TUTV?
So I think probably my favorite memory has been the live streams, just because it allows us a little bit more room to do bigger forms of content. I think my favorite one I've done was the election night 2020 we did, covering the presidential election. I think we had some really great content then. And actually my favorite moment, it didn't come from that one, but I think from the midterms and the Oscars we did in 2018 and 2019, I was on camera on the green screen, and I think I was a little bit under, so Alex told me to vamp, and I ended up talking about the Grinch on live television to about,
Nice.
I don't even know how many people, but
Yeah.
that's the highlight of my experience.
Yeah, the Grinch filibuster.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
awesome.
much. I mean, it was cold out. You know, I'm sure it's cold up on Mount Crumpet, so I kind of tied it in there. The Illumination Grinch was coming out as well, so
Awesome.
yeah.
So what are you planning on doing after graduation?
So after graduation, TU's actually influenced my career choice in a huge way. I've transitioned from kind of looking at film production more to now news production. So I'm looking at news producer positions around the country. I've talked to a few stations here in Tulsa, and I'm also interviewing with a few places elsewhere. But that's kind of my career path. Eventually, I'd like to work my way up to news director and pretty much do what I've done here, just on a larger scale.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it was great talking to you for the first time, Sam.
Yeah, I've definitely never talked before this time on camera.
Yeah, well, hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, well, that's all, folks. Thanks for having me.
Hello, welcome to TUTV. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Joe. We've got some exciting stories for you this week, so let's jump right into it.
Tulsa men's basketball beat USF 76-45 at home last Saturday. Coming into the game, TU lost their first 7 conference games. Tulsa took a 2-1 lead at the 18:56 mark and held the lead for the rest of the game. TU's Sam Griffin scored 19 points in the first half to help put Tulsa up 40-27 going into halftime. In the second half, TU's Jariah Horn had 13 points to seal the win for Tulsa. TU's defense held USF to just 30% field goal shooting and 17% three-point shooting. TU will look to bounce back from their rocky conference start tonight at Wichita State.
Tulsa women's basketball lost at Cincinnati 60-66 last Saturday. After starting 11-0, Tulsa is 3-4 in their last 7 games. TU led 15-10 going into the second quarter. Tulsa built a 21-point lead with 3 minutes 31 seconds left in the half and held a 36-20 lead at halftime. Cincinnati got off to a strong start in the third quarter and took the lead with 1 minute 17 seconds left in the third quarter. The two teams went back and forth in the fourth quarter, but Cincinnati took the final lead with 1 minute 30 left in the game. Tulsa's next game is at home this Saturday against Houston.
Tulsa men's tennis beat Wichita State 4-2 in the first duel of the ITA kickoff weekend. Tulsa had outscored their opponents 13-1 in their past 2 duels coming into the weekend. Tulsa won the doubles point with wins at number 2 doubles and number 3 doubles. TU got off to a hot start in the singles matches, with Callum Gale winning at the number 5 spot and Ezekiel Santaya winning at the number 1 spot. Wichita State won the next 2 matches at number 2 and number 3 spots to cut Tulsa's lead down to 3-2. Connor DeMarco won the dual ceiling point for Tulsa with a victory over Luke Marsha at the number 4 spot. Tulsa plays at home next Sunday against Pepperdine.
Tulsa's women's tennis beat Oregon 4-2 in their opening duel of the ITA kickoff. TU won the doubles point, the wins at number 1 and number 3 spots. Similar to the men's duel, Tulsa got off to a quick start in the singles matches and held a 3-0 lead in the duel with wins at the number 6 spot and the number 2 spot. Oregon won the next 2 matches with wins at the number 5 and the number 4 spot. The winning spot for the TU came at the number 3 spot, where Shure Pope won in 3 sets. Following a loss to UNC on Saturday, Tulsa is now 4-2 to start the season.
The Cincinnati Bengals advanced to the Super Bowl with a 27-24 win over the Kansas City Chiefs in overtime last Sunday. The Chiefs held a 21-3 lead with 5 minutes 09 left in the first quarter and had a 21-10 lead going into the half. The Bengals stormed back and took the lead 24-21 with 6:07 left in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs' Harrison Butker made a game-tying field goal as time expired in the fourth quarter to send the game into overtime. On the Bengals' first overtime drive, Evan McPherson made a 31-yard field goal to send Cincinnati to the Super Bowl. Cincinnati will face the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl February 13th. So, have you seen much of men's basketball?
Oh, of course. And, after an 0-7 start to the second half of the season, I think, after our first win of the semester, I think Jariah Horn and Sam Griffin are finally connecting. And, tonight against Wichita State is our chance to show that, we can push forward and finish the season strong.
I agree, and it wasn't just a small win either that they had the other day. It was quite a gap, quite a margin. So I think that's a great sign, and I look forward to seeing what they're doing. Yeah. That's all we have for today. Thanks for watching.
Stay warm, and we'll see you soon.
Hello, welcome to TUTV. I'm once again Jacob Gailey.
And I'm Ryan Cercelli. We've got your entertainment stories for today coming right up.
Neil Young headlined a group of musical artists that removed their music from Spotify this past week in protest of the company's support of the popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. The podcast, which Spotify holds the exclusive distribution rights to, has incurred controversy over the past year concerning Joe Rogan's comments calling into question the reliability and safety of vaccines. Last month, a coalition of more than 200 medical doctors published a letter protesting Rogan's choices, arguing that Rogan and some of the guests on his show were spreading disinformation dangerous to public health. On Sunday night, Spotify responded to the controversy by announcing it would put a content advisory linking to a website with vaccine and public health information on podcasts that discussed COVID-19.
We Don't Talk About Bruno, a song from the soundtrack of Disney's recent animated movie Encanto, recently hit a new peak of number 2 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts. Another song from the movie, titled Surface Pressure, reached a new high of number 10, making Encanto the first Disney film to feature 2 top 10 hits. Encanto disappointed with a $27 million opening weekend last November, despite widespread critical acclaim, but has built up a word-of-mouth popularity after debuting on Disney Plus on December 24th. If We Don't Talk About Bruno hits number 1 in the coming weeks, it will be the first song from a movie soundtrack to do so since See You Again by Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa hit the top spot in April 2015.
HBO's hit series Euphoria returned for season 2 on January 9th, more than 2 years after the first season ended. The show follows Rue, played by Zendaya, a high school girl working through her drug addiction, alongside an ensemble cast of characters. Euphoria has received widespread acclaim for its cinematography and camera work while incurring controversy over the sexual portrayals of its underage characters, all of whom are played by adults. Following the premiere, HBO announced that the episode had, quote, the strongest digital premiere night performance for any episode of an HBO series since HBO Max launched, and a series record more than double the season 1 premiere.
More than a month removed from its initial release, Spider-Man No Way Home continues to rake in big at the box office. With an $11 million gross this past weekend, the film took first place at the U.S. box office, a rare 7 weeks into its theatrical run. The film, which grossed $260 million in its opening weekend alone, now holds a tally of $735 million at the U.S. box office, and just squeezed past $1 billion from the international markets this past weekend. It is poised to overtake 2009's Avatar, which stands at $760 million as the third highest grosser in U.S. box office history in the coming weeks.
Andre Leon Talley, fashion industry icon and longtime creative director of Vogue magazine, died on January 18th at the age of 73. Talley was renowned in the fashion industry for his work as a writer, journalist, and stylist. Talley is the only black creative director in Vogue's history and was a longtime advocate for diversity in the fashion world. As a stylist, his list of notable contributions included styling both Barack and Michelle Obama during their time in the White House. Following the news of his death, dozens of famous figures in fashion paid tribute to his legacy, including Tyra Banks, Rick Owens, Naomi Campbell, and Anna Wintour. So, Spider-Man really making it big at the box office, I see.
Yeah, I'm astonished that 7 weeks into its run in theaters, it's still able to pull in $11 million. It's incredible because other movies aren't pulling in nearly as much.
I mean, I fully understand it. I mean, not to give any spoilers, but its cast was great. You've got to admit.
I'm really astounded with how much money it's bringing in, and they're still running it in theaters, which is also insane.
I mean,
all right, that's all we've got for you this week.
So, David, have you watched Encanto yet?
Oh yeah, I have seen Encanto no less than 32 times.
32.
So yeah, I have been on a binge-watching streak with that movie. I love it so much.
Yeah.
For me, it really took like a couple times to like start to really enjoy the plot of the movie. But after like the third time I was watching it, I was jamming out to like all the songs, like Surface Pressure, We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
I also have kind of an unpopular opinion, but my favorite song is Waiting on a Miracle.
Really?
So,
okay. Yeah, mine is Surface Pressure, personally.
Very nice.
I have a friend who was raving about it whenever we were on a winter trip, and we finally gave in and decided to watch it. And yeah, it was actually really awesome. The plot's really interesting, the characters are awesome, and the music is slapping.
Absolutely.
On that topic, or rather on a different topic of a show that starts with the letter E that they just talked about, Euphoria. How does your high school experience compare to Euphoria?
I don't think my high school experience could be any more different from Euphoria. I was homeschooled, so, you know, the only drugs I was taking were ibuprofen and essential oils.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, a little bit different there, but what about your high school experience?
Relatively similar. I was not homeschooled, but I was mostly focused on AP tests and the works. So it was more optimizing for getting 5s, and that was pretty much all my brain was focused on for like 4 years. But here I am now at college, and there aren't AP tests anymore, just finals. So I only have to worry about that for 2 weeks a semester. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all the time that we have for this episode. We'll see you next week.
And that's all, folks.